So how do you tie a pouch on a rubber band? Okay, this is how you do flat bands. I want a knot on the outside because I want to hold this black area. Not to say everybody will. In fact, this has a little more texture, and a lot of leathers, I actually like that. But I'm going to show you how to do it, saying I want the knots of the tie to the outside. I just stick it in here from the bottom, pull it through a little bit, okay? And I twist it around a little bit. And I want about, we got about a ½ inch there, maybe a little more. It might be easier for you at the beginning to do a little more. But there's a couple ways you can do this. I can literally just close it and stretch it and tie that and trim it, and it actually works really good. My preferred method is to actually take it and roll it. Pull it down in the center, and then actually pull this over the top. And what it does is it thins it out. It's real meaty there. And then I put my fingers right here in the center to hold the pouch, to kind of control where I want to spin it. And then I pull it over, and I touch the other with pressure, keeping it down. And then I grab it, right? And on the end, you'll see that this is coming in. This is folded over both ways. And I'll grab this here. Make sure your hole is on the bottom. And then I wrap it inside here like this. And this clamp's tough enough to really hold on to it. Okay, so that's one side. I grab the other clamp. Again, make sure your hole's down. And I grab right in front of that hole. About halfway almost. And actually, my stretch mark for what I do is when I pull it, it barely touches the actual rod. See here? It's not no further than that unless I stretch it, but just kind of relax. It actually touches it pretty good. I mean, I can even go a little more. Right now, I'm in the center of the hole, and you can see it just barely touches. So what I do is I go ahead and take that and stretch it over. You can see that this is as thinned out. So let me leave it here. Okay. You can do different kind of knots here. This is the knot I like. Now you see I'm putting it upside down. It works every time, no problem. I start on top like this because the loop of woodish I grabbed on top, the short part's on top. That's the part I'm going to trim. So anyway, I start on the bottom. I just take a simple knot and I pull it up real close to the leather right here. And I pull down pretty good. Now this is a wax string. I'll show you in a minute which one it is. Then I do it on top. Okay, not once, but twice. Twice is good enough. If I give it a little distance, like an 1/8 inch or something here. But what I like to do, just in case you cut it too short, put that third knot in there on top. And then when you clip it, even if you clipped it too low, you have a third knot, so you're good to go, because it's only going to slip the one if it was this way too short. Okay, let me release this here. And you're going to see this extension right here, okay? So I take my finger and I put it underneath of it. At the same time, I put my thumb over the top here to pull this tie out of the way, kind of protect it. But when you tie it right, it's not like you're going to have to leave, some on it because it's going to slip. It's not going to slip if you tie it right. It won't slip. So you've got to write it down. There you go. See the back side? There's hardly anything left. 16th maybe. But if it's tied right, it's not slipping. Okay. We're going to go through this again to show you how I put the rest of it together. Again, from the bottom, pull it through. Again, I want to fold it. I want to start about approximately the same material. And kind of stretch it out and pull the bottom down and feed it over. And then you're going to end up where it's trying to curl. Okay? And so I take that again and put my fingers down here, try to control it. I pull that down, and then I grab it with my thumb right there. All right. Again, take that, don't let go, put it inside that clamp. The short piece, again, is on top, okay? Now we know the stretch because we already done it with this particular pouch. It's halfway. Boom. Done, okay? Again, when we tie this, because that short piece is up top, then again, this is a wax string. And I'll have to get Rhonda here to find it for me to show you. You can use any string, really. The wax is easier on the rubber, and it allows me to tie it without it wanting to loosen up on you, even with the single tie. So you guys seen that I tied the bottom first. Now I'm up top again. And these are just like tying a shoelace. Don't get any easier than this. And it's never failed, okay? Now when you see me pulling, I'm not being wimpy about it. I'm pulling. Not enough to try to rip in half, but I'm pulling, okay? So the rubber's tough. This wax really helps preserve it too. Again, cut it off. And when you have 3 knots, you see how close that is. I wouldn't do that with just 2 knots, but I know that that extra knot will actually leave a bigger extension and it just won't come off. Okay, here again, I put my finger down. I pull my thumb over the top of it like that. And then I trim it very close. Less weight, the better. If you tie it right, it don't slip. Okay, then, now we have to say, okay, how long do we want our bands? Now this is, like I said, this is a very simple thing to make. I can tie these bands without this, but it's not a beautiful knot like that. It's bulkier, it's just not as nice. This truly is the way to do it. Okay, so now a lot of times I know the length of my bands, all the time actually. But after we tied that and trimmed rubber, what I want to do is make sure that this pouch is dead even, pull down, get, all the debris or whatever from playing with it, then lightly just touching it. I'm not stretching it. And make sure that these are the same. Now you can see that one just a little bit off. So what I do is instead of cutting one side, because it's like impossible to try to do that, I cut them both. Perfect. All right. I'm going to show you how to put them on another slingshot here. I'm going to have to go get it, and so I'm going to have to pause the video. I'll be right back. Okay, what I want to show you now is how to tie bands on to a slingshot that doesn't have holes, clips, or any of it. It's the oldest method that there is, and it's called wrap and tuck. The first thing for any new shooter is to figure out their draw length. Whether they shoot like this, or they shoot like this, or they shoot like this. It's a 5-to-1 ratio for the best longevity of your bands and still get some pretty good performance. You can go up to 6 times, but when you do, your bands ain't going to last about half the time, maybe not even that. Okay, so like I said, we got to figure out what this distance is here. So like a bow, what is it from here to here? And that's a pretty good draw, so it's going to really lay the ammo out there. Now, you can set it up much lighter. You can cut them thinner. You can cut tapers on them to speed them up. All that loses longevity of your bands. The longest lasting bands are ones that you keep to a 5-to-1 stretch and that you keep straight cut. In other words, no part of this band is working harder than the other. If I cut tapered bands and I put them on there, what happens is when you pull them, the smallest part stretches the most, which affects that longevity. It goes over to 6-to-1, even closer to 7-to-1. And then the thick area down here is maybe only 4-to-1. But it works. It really speeds them up, but it don't last long. Okay, so personal preference is straight. I get 1,000 rounds. Okay, so anyway, so let's figure it out. I gotta tie this for one of the guys here. He just getting into slingshots, and so the first thing I want to do is make sure that my knots that I tied here are to the outside. See the difference? Okay, now right now it's like backwards, so I turn it half and I look at it again, and you can see now my knot is the outside. So we ask ourselves, well, how do I know that that ain't right? Because I can put that to the outside. And if you look, you'll see a different kind of bend in it, where it's not complementing the shot to get it over or giving it the most room without interference. So when you have this set up like this on the knot with the outside, what we're creating here is like a horse trough. It's like a V. When the bands are hooked up right, they're pointing towards the center of that slingshot, which keeps this whole area open much better, much cleaner. Okay, so I have a guy that is 5'11". I'm predicting he's at least 31, maybe a 32 draw. It's his first slingshot, so if I went 5-to-1, well, he's going to be a little over that, actually, at a 32-inch draw. So I'm going to make it, first time around, I'm going to give him 6 inches to be able to have some power, but yet, more control. The harder the bands are to pull, the more movement you're going to get. And just, really jacks up your shot, basically. So, here we go. We're really close to 6. So, I'm going to take this first one. Make sure that trough condition is like right. And my knots are to the outside. Okay. Now, here's where everybody really screws up. This band's really long. I can do this with half the band. But why not use it all? It's cheap. So what I do is it takes a little practice because, we're a little fumbly with stuff like this. And I lay this first piece down. I grab my thumb underneath of it. And I lightly wrap around the first one. Just enough. Really light. Just enough to grab it, like that. I kind of wrap it over that rubber that, and it holds itself. But this is the trick. Once you get that position, many people, they keep wrapping, right? And it looks good, Yeah. No. Okay, I'm going to show you why. I'm wanting to hit the stopping point of the stretch of this rubber. And I don't care if it's a rubber band or whatever you're using. You pull it out, there's a stopping point. After this, if I pull much harder, it's going to break. But I take that, I hold that tight. I put my finger underneath of it, and I let go. I grab it again and do the same thing. I do that like, I don't know, you can only do it a few times actually if you want. But, I start out a big old piece of rubber, that's fine. I want it never slip. Okay, so I do this. And then, like I say, I'm stretching. There's no wimpy stuff about it. You stretch it. Pull it around. You see what I did? I just show you here. Okay, get this out of the way. Okay, what I'm doing, again, stretch. I put my thumb down. I put my finger here to try to hold it so I can let go. And I want to come around that thumb. So I go like this. Not overly tight at this point because you won't be able to get it in there. But I go over my thumb. And I slide that underneath there. And you grip it. And you just snake it out of there. Now, theoretically, that'll hold by itself. But I'm going to show you a little bit of an improved method, okay? You take this here. Let's just trim this off. This man was much too long for what I was doing. Okay. You see that I trimmed it down, right? I take that and fold it over. Let's cut this little piece out of the way. Or at least some of it. You always want a little tail, because otherwise it's going to try to get underneath there and slip loose. So, you leave a little bit. Okay, so what I do is I fold that over. Again, pull tight. And this is that tuck part where this baby will never come off. Okay? Again, you see me tight. I'm not screwing around with it. It's like really want to break almost, okay? Again, same idea. Go around. You bring it under your finger or your thumb. Pull it out. All right, we have two definite knots in there already. You literally can break the outside and that other knot's going to hold, okay? I've even done this because I don't want to cut the rubber. Just put it on there, It don't matter. Do another knot. Who cares? And when you get all done, like that, you just, like that, okay? Now, here's the next side. I'm going to show you that trough. Okay, when you pull this like this, there's something don't look right here. This knot's on the outside, that knot's on the outside, but you don't see the trough properly. So, turn it. Okay? Now look at that trough. It looks like a horse trough. It's a V, okay? And it leaves the most open area to get through there. Okay, so right now I have to figure out exactly that to make this band the same length. Real critical. It's super critical. If I look at that, I'll close it again on the end. And you'll get good at this. You don't even need to measure it. And I'll show you it's right after I get done here. I can see this side's a little longer, so I shorten it. We're pretty close. This one's a little long still. You can kind of look at it. Where's the length? Oh, that's looking pretty dang good. All right. Again, let me show you how to do this. Take the end, put it underneath the thumb. The first wrap is easy. Don't fight it. Okay, no real pressure. Just enough to overlap that other band so it holds it for you. Okay? Once you do that, look, you can let go. Okay, so what we do, stretch it. Grab it with your finger down below. Stretch it. Stretch it. Again. Okay, now at this time, let's go ahead and put a knot in it to hold it. The same way I showed you before. Okay. Let's take and cut this off. Normally these would be trimmed to the right size. I just grabbed some that I had because I wanted to show you guys how to do this. Okay, so again, fold it over. Grab it. Stretch it. Stretch it. And let's put another knot. The more you do this, you'll get better and better at it. It's really not hard. It takes a little practice. And it doesn't even take near this rubber, to be honest. I'm just kind of showing you how to do it and how you can have successful ties. All right, let's trim that up. And this is the way it should look. Okay? This is like double what you truly need. I give long ones just for people to do what they want with them. Okay? Now we're ready. Okay? Here's the string. It's the type I use. I get it from Hobby Lobby or Joann's, I believe we got it from. It's made in USA. It's a wax thread, tannin color. And I've never had any failures. It's a little thicker than some. But what I like about it is I can tie a single knot and it just doesn't come apart. It holds itself. So it makes tying really easy. It's the best method. It's been around forever. You can get clips, you can get everything else almost anymore. But the old way is the best way. Hope you guys get it, man. Thanks for watching. See you later.